Hey everybody, Tojo here, welcoming you all back to the channel with a new adventure on the horizon. With the combining factors of a lack of Pokemon sets that I'm interested in opening up at the moment, the price hike of other sealed products, and wanting to try something new, I decided to record and share my journey through a new Nuzlocke challenge. In my opinion, Pokemon HeartGold and Soul Silver are the pinnacle of Pokemon games, so it was a no-brainer that this was selected to be the game that I'd first bring onto the channel. For those of you that are not familiar with the Nuzlocke rules, I imagine you probably will be if you've ended up on this video, they pretty much boil down to be 1. If a Pokemon in your party faints, you can no longer use that Pokemon in the playthrough. 2. You are only allowed to catch and use the first Pokemon that you encounter on each route / in each new area of the game. If you fail to catch it, then that's it. You've blown it until the next new route or area. The only exception to the above rule is if the Pokemon that you have encountered is the same species / evolution line as something you've already caught. You can try again for another encounter if that's the case. This is more commonly known as the species / duplicate clause. To add a little challenge on top, every trainer Pokemon and wild Pokemon in the game has also been completely randomised, as well as an additional 30% level modifier, meaning that trainer battles and gym challenges will be a lot harder. Our Nuzlocke challenge will begin as soon as we receive our first Pokeballs. So let's go ahead and take a look at what starter we get to take on our adventure. So the first one is Shroomish, our second is Mothim, and our third was Weedle. So throwing us a few grass and bug type Pokemon here. So I went ahead and picked Shroomish, mainly because I love Breloom and I think it's a great second evolution for a Pokemon. And I didn't really fancy Mothim or Weedle. I suppose Beedrill would have been a viable option given that it evolves pretty early and I have some good base stats towards the start of the game. So guys, we've chosen our starter, we've been given some potions by the Professor's aid, meet up with Lyra outside and then head off to go on our adventure before being held up by somebody who's going to tell us to go back and I believe speak to our mom. So we'll head back to our mom and then she will give us our Pokegear, which is a device used for calling, using the map in this game, loads of other stuff. So yeah, we're going to head out onto Route 29 and get a little bit of a preview of the encounters / Pokemon that we might be able to get in our team. So we start off with Magnezone, which is a nuts evolution from Gen 4 for Magneton. Amazing special attack stat and would be a great addition to the team. The second Pokemon that we can see that's available on this route is a Delibird, which is another cool Pokemon. I really wanted to get out of this fight. As you can see, Delibird has the move Present, which has a relatively low roll chance, but still has a chance at having a ridiculously high base power. So after narrowly escaping that battle, I went and headed back and healed up our team, and then headed back out on our adventure. On the next route, we managed to pick up the Wise Glasses randomized item. All of the items in this game have been randomized as well. So we managed to beat a Delibird there and level up our Shroomish and continue our adventure down this route, encountering a couple of more Magnezones and some other Pokemon. And eventually we reached Cherry Grove City, which is the next city in the Johto region. This old man will give us our running shoes, which will dramatically increase the pace that we can run through the game, which is really nice. We're going to quickly stop off here and attempt to speak to this Pokemon clerk. I made a mess of that. Just wanted to check whether the Pokeballs were in stock, just in case the Nuzlocke challenge started earlier than I remembered. Anyway, we're going to head up to the next route just to get a quick preview of some of the Pokemon that we'll be able to encounter on this route. And we start off with a Pure-Ugly, which I don't really like this Pokemon, it's not great. It's a great source of experience. Let's check out what else we can get hold of. And the encounter's a Sunkern, so another grass type Pokemon. Ideally, we wouldn't like to pick that guy up in our encounter when we get back to this route. Got a nice level up for Shroomish there, and then we pick up another randomised item from this route, which is a Zoom Lens. We're going to take a quick stop off and talk to this Apricorn guy. I can't remember what his actual name is, but he'll give us the box, which allows us to harvest these apricorns from the tree. Later on in the game, we'll be able to make some funky Pokeballs from Kurt. So head through that wild area and pick up another Razor Claw, and then continue to the north end of this route to finally get to Mr. Pokemon's house, which is where Professor Elm has sent us to on our quest. We're going to head inside and have a quick chat with these two old gentlemen. We'll get a mysterious egg. I wonder what's in that egg. Now normally I would know, it'd be a Togepi, but obviously because everything's been randomised in this game, we've got no idea what's going to be in there, so that'll be exciting to see what we get out of there. So we're going to come outside and Professor Elm is going to have an existential crisis to us on the phone, informing us of a disaster back at the Pokemon lab. So, before we rush back there, I'm going to throw a massive middle finger to Professor Elm and his urgent disaster and pick up this Apricorn, which I'm sure he'd be absolutely thrilled to hear about. So yeah, after we've grabbed that very important berry, we're going to head down south, get some more encounters, get some more XP for the team. Hopefully Shroomish can get some better moves other than Absorb and Tackle, I think is what we've got going at the moment. I suppose during this thrilling bit of gameplay that we've got going on, I can take a minute to just say that none of this commentary is live. Obviously you can see there's cuts and stuff in the footage. It's all of this is done after recording the gameplay. I want to try and keep the info concise and the pace of the playthrough fairly high and focus on key moments. But if you guys enjoy parts of this format or want to see, you know, some of it done live, some key moments on face cam, stuff like that, then, you know, just let me know. Also, if you guys enjoy this video, then be sure to let me know by leaving a like or a comment. If you could consider subscribing to the channel too whilst you're here, you'll be the first to know when the next chapter of this adventure is uploaded, or if we decide to ever open up packs again. That is a thing, and that is going to be happening fairly soon. Like I said in previous videos, I've got some stuff going in the works for some Rebel Clash openings and that beautiful Rayquaza promo that I've had my eyes on. So yeah, that's enough chat anyway. Let's get back into the gameplay and see what the rest of the first few hours of this game brought us. So we're heading south again, back down from Mr. Pokemon's house, back into Cherry Grove City. We're going to go ahead, I think, and heal up. No, we're not. Balls to the wall. And we're going straight into our first rival battle. So our rival picked up Mothim as the counter pick to our Shroomish, which is a counter pick at the moment, given the bug and flying type moves that it would know. So we quickly dispatch that loser and then carry on through back to the lab to find out about the disaster. So here we meet the most useless policeman to ever exist in the Pokemon universe. He asks us about the name, and rather than go with something like D or Cock, we'll just go with the general, I just go with J as my rival's name. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because I've got a friend called Joe. Maybe that's why I go with J. I don't know. But that's what it is. So yeah, one last check up on your mum before you leave her forever. She asks us if we want to save money with her, and I say no. I need it for potions and other items to combat the nonsense that's to come. Lyra decides to complete this game several hours early by catching the Box Heart Legendary. This is the first ridiculous encounter that we're going to see from this randomised effect on this game. So she just casually catches a Ho-Oh, so that's fine. But we do now have Pokeballs, which means our Nuzlocke challenge has begun. So I believe this is our first encounter, and we get the Magnezone, which is flipping sick. So hopefully try and catch this guy for our team and be real worthy addition to the team early on. He'll absolutely plough through some low level mons because his stats are so high. And we do indeed manage to capture Magnezone for the team, which is a wicked addition. So we're going to give him the creative nickname of UFO. Throughout all of my Nuzlocke challenges, I like to give every single Pokemon that we have a nickname, just so that we have that sentimental attachment for when we inevitably make a stupid mistake or switch in and they die later in the playthrough. It just makes things a little bit more entertaining, hopefully for you guys as well. So we're going to carry back down this route, picking up some experience for a newly captured Magnezone. He'll make absolute mincemeat of the Delibirds that we find along the way. Some tricky battles with some other Magnezones, but once you hit that level, you kind of can pretty much sweep through all of them. So we'll grab another Apricorn and then go ahead and heal up our Pokemon at Cherry Grove once we get into the town. The next step will be to head into the Pokemart and pick up some Pokeballs. There is a chance that we end up finding other Pokemon other than the Sunkern or the Purugly on the next route. We never know what we could run into, so it's good to stock up on Pokeballs. Always a good shout to get the 10, so we get the extra Premier Ball. You never know when that extra ball will come in handy. We definitely need to pick up some potions, and then we also need to make sure of picking up some antidotes in case of poison damage and us not being able to get to a heal station. So we managed to jig things around with our money, so we're able to afford one last Pokeball at the end there. I'm pretty sure in Gen 4 we're void of damage from poison outside of battle causing fainting, but you never know. So we switch our Pokemon and look to get our first encounter on this route, which is inevitably a Sunkern. So another grass type for the team, arguably worse than the Shroomish we already have, but Effect Spore coming in clutch there to help us with our catching chances, and we do indeed manage to pick up the Sunkern for the team. Again, another phenomenally creative nickname with Sunny, which took me all of probably 2 or 3 minutes. I've sped up the footage there just to save myself the embarrassment. But yeah, so we managed to pick Sunkern up, and we're going to go back and heal him up so that we're ready to take on the next route. We're going to try and do some switch training, I think, for Sunkern here, because we just want to try and get some of his levels up, ready for the first few trainer battles that we're about to experience on this route. Now, normally the first few trainers on any Pokemon game are a breeze. You can just fly through them. They've got absolutely woeful Pokemon like Rattatas, Pidgeys, you name it for the generation, it'll be there and they'll be rubbish. But with this, you can't be too careful. We've got the randomizer in effect, so they could have any Pokemon at all, and also they're going to have that 30% level modifier on, so they're going to be a little bit higher than usual. So we went ahead and did some training ready for this first battle. Now Joey is going to send out a Swellow, which is level 5. I think it's normally level 3 or level 4 this first trainer battle, so we're already seeing that modifier come into effect. Obviously, Magnezone is well equipped to take down this bird. It's just going to go ahead and Thundershock it into Oblivion and OHKO it, which is fine. But you can never be too careful. Like I said, we could have seen a Rayquaza here, we could have seen a Groudon, we could have seen anything come out in that slot, and that goes for every single trainer battle that we're going to have in this playthrough. So I'm sure we're going to have some entertaining matches coming up in the next few episodes and throughout the playthrough in its entirety. So we go ahead and dispatch that Swellow and pick up some nice experience point for our Magnezone or UFO there, which is great, and we get a little bit of money to go alongside. He's going to ask us for our digits, which every trainer seems like it does in this game, and some of them are useful, some of them aren't. I can't really recall which ones are useful and which ones aren't. Anyway, we'll get into the second trainer battle here and see what this trainer has for us. And there we go. A Darkrai. So this is an indicator of what we can expect. Luckily, the level is really low on that one, so we're able to quickly get rid of that Darkrai, and then he'll bring in the second slot with a Probopass, which Sunny manages to absolutely decimate with Absorb and keep its health relatively high. Nonetheless, we're still going to head back to the Pokemon Center and heal up. There's no need to waste potions and stuff when there's Pokemon Centers well within reach. And then obviously we encounter a Skarmory. So we could have had a Skarmory, we could have had a Purugly, but we got a Sunkern. Anyway, onwards with the playthrough, and obviously dispatching more Puruglys up on this route, and onto our third trainer battle with Bug Catcher Don, who has a Mightyena. Shout out to Gen 3, I love this design on Poochyena and Mightyena, one of the classics from that region. And another Gen 3 Pokemon coming out the cracks with a Claydol. Now, if you look in the top corner on the left hand side, we can see that the route's changed, which means, Tojo, that you can get a new encounter. And you'd have thought I might have noticed this by the fact that I've also just encountered a Vaporeon, which is something that I haven't seen yet. But obviously I wasn't paying attention and just decided to f***ing obliterate this Vaporeon and completely void the encounter for this new route. Now you'd have thought that I probably would have noticed that I'd made that mistake by the second Vaporeon that I encountered, but I didn't. This won't be the first mistake that I make on the playthrough. Anyway, on to the next encounter. Suicune. Yeah, a Suicune. I'd honestly like to be able to tell you what was going through my head at this point, but it can pretty much just be boiled down to panic and shit, I'm never ever going to catch this. Anyway, we've got to rely on some absolutely clutch strategies to pull through and try and catch this Pokemon. So it's going through in my head thinking, what kind of moves is it going to have? Is it going to do any damage to the Pokemon I've got? So I'm really hoping that Effect Spore on Shroomish here can come through. And it does indeed on the first contact move that Suicune pulls off on us. So I'm thinking, right, I don't want to do too much damage to this. So I'm going to switch in Sunny, who's going to have lower damage to Suicune with Absorb here. So I'm going to try and pull through and chip away at its health, whilst also trying to keep Sunny alive. I still don't really know what the moveset is for the Suicune. If it has an ice move, then it's absolute lights out for our Sunkern here. So I managed to bring it down to red health, which now means we're going to start chucking an absolute army load of Pokeballs at this thing in the hope that it will be caught. Now obviously we'll switch UFO in here because he's the best equipped Mon to start taking hits whilst we're throwing these Pokeballs out, and obviously you can see that this isn't going to be an easy task. Now the catch rate is so low for these legendaries. This is just like you going to the end of the game and actually throwing Pokeballs at a Pokemon. So essentially we can just basically write off this encounter and we're never going to catch this Suicune. Oh. Well then, that was easy. Now like I said before guys, all of this audio is recorded after I've done the gameplay, and I can guarantee you at the time my reaction was through the roof when I caught this guy. So maybe a face cam would be a good addition, or maybe some live reactions thrown into the mix. But with Suicune in our team and ready to take on the adventure with us, I think that's probably a good place to call it a day on episode 1. So to find out what happens next time on our randomised Nuzlocke adventure with our fresh legendary by our side, be sure to subscribe to the channel to know when the next episode drops. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first video of our HeartGold playthrough, and I hope it can bring some new faces over to the channel. If you are new here, hello there, and I hope that you'll stick around. That's it from me today guys. Stay safe out there and take care, and I'll see you in the next video.